Okay, so we need to figure out how we are going to put our blogs on GitHub. So let's check out how we're going to do that. The first thing that I'll do is go to my GitHub account. And I'm going to navigate to my profile for, let's go to our class. And in the class, I gave a example of our blog post. And we can check this out. As you can see, I have a title up here. I have a couple of pictures. I have some words. They don't mean anything at all. And an example of 3 art pieces with some links. And you can see we can kind of like click out of here and go view the art piece if we want to view the art piece. So this is going to be the general setup for our blogs. This is going to be how we're going to post, or the kind of like the format that we want our blog to be posted in. So next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to come to clone or download, and I'm just going to download the zip. I'm going to drag that to my desktop. And I'm going to open this up. And I should have, I'm going to throw this away. Yeah, hope that wasn't too loud. And I have my blog examples folder that I sent out to the whole class. And you should be able to access this as well. Again, it's just kind of like in our class repository right here. It's blog examples. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up a new window in Visual Studio Code. And we can take our blog examples and drag it inside. And what we see is a readme.md and an images folder with our folder of images. And we can click on it. Unfortunately, it doesn't show. But if we click on a README MD, this README MD is what is called Markdown. And Markdown is a file format that allows us to kind of like format stuff for GitHub, right? So when we decide to like take these blog posts and create, maybe like a portfolio or something like that, we should have all of them and be able to compile them pretty quickly into a nice portfolio or a nice blog or whatever. But for now, we're just going to post this as a readme.md. And what a readme.md does is it allows us to view the file on the page. If this were just like a regular text file or maybe like a Word document, it wouldn't show up down here. We wouldn't be able to see like the pretty pictures of our art. So this just kind of like tells GitHub, hey, this is a special file that I also want to show down here so that other people who navigate to this page can read and see my blog post. So we have our blog posts probably in a Word document. And what you can really do is just go to your Word document and copy and paste all of your words into here. That should be pretty straightforward. Again, you're just going to want to like copy all of that stuff over. As you can see, we can obviously like change this title. 1 hash is just the biggest title that you can make. So I'm going to call this Matt's blog post. And 3 hashes is a little bit smaller of a title, but it's still kind of like the same thing. We can just put a hash in front of it. And that just says to make it like bold and bigger. Just kind of like an H1 tag or H3 tag if you're doing HTML. Below it, I have this link to this image. So how do we get this image onto this page? We can see right here, I have the title of the image, and that can, like really be anything. And then I have this link, and this links into the images folder and to the file. So this is images reese.jpg, and you can see inside my images folder, I have a reese.jpg that I'm referring to. And this KC Reese at the end is kind of just like a placeholder in case the image doesn't show up, but it should show up for all of you. So we'll do the same thing for each of these. Right here I have images hemmer, and in my images folder I have hemmer.png. So that should be pretty clear. If you want to get fancy with Markdown, there are all kinds of Markdown cheat sheets that we could take a look at. That should give you an example of like some of the Markdown syntax that you can find. So as you can see right here, we have, if you want to make headers, you can kind of like make them with hashes in front of them. If you want to put these nice little lines underneath, you can kind of like put line breaks. And there's all kinds of stuff, a couple of asterisks if you want to make things bold, some underscores if you want to make things bold, and these kind of like tildes if you want to like scratch things out. And it's a really good way to also like make lists, like kind of like ordered lists of stuff. And if we look at like the class syllabus, all of this stuff at the end of the day is written in Markdown. And you can see it kind of like, it's pretty easy to just like, like make a basic like tabbed in list of whatever we want to make, along with titles and whatnot. Okay, so that's all well and good. Okay, so we wrote our blog post. We have it here in our blog post folder. And now we want to put it on GitHub. So I'm going to go to my GitHub account. I'm going to come up here to new repository. I'm going to make a new repository called blog post, and I'll make it public. And now we're just going to want to go essentially through the exact same steps that we would take to upload our code to GitHub. We'll do the same thing for this blog post. So let's open up a new terminal window, and I am going to do cd, and I'm going to drag my blog post in. This is where my blog post is living right now. I can ls, and you can see I have two files in there. I'll get init, and I've initialized an empty repository. That's again just telling GitHub like these are the files that I want to work with. Next, I'll do git add period and add all of the files. I'll do git commit first commit, and I'll commit all of the files. And then I'll just come up here. I'm going to copy this over instead of typing that out. I'll add the remote origin, and I'll do git push u origin master. And I should be able to come up here and refresh. And here is my blog post. Okay. Great. So that's the only steps that we have to take. Let us say, I didn't save this, so I should save it. And that's why I didn't change it all. But let's say we wanted to come in here and like change some other stuff again. Maybe I'll come in here and say like, this piece is really cool. I liked it a lot. Okay. So I made a change to my blog post, and now I'm just going to want to push these new changes again to GitHub. So we can come back here to my terminal. I can do git init. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to do git init. I can do git status. I can do git add period, git commit new changed first post. And then I'll do git push. We should be able to come back here and refresh. And now you can see I have this piece. This piece is really cool. I liked it a lot. So that's how you're going to want to kind of like upload and set up your blog posts. Pretty straightforward. Again, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email or touch base on Slack, and I'll help you out further. Thanks.